Hi, I'm Steve Canton, producer of the Cat Sitter and Dog Sitter DVD, and we're producing the Bird Sitter DVD and video. And I'm here with Steve Hartman. We're in the studio, and Steve's been doing detailed research on what it takes to make a bird a bird. And I tell you, the birds that Steve brings up are just as tame as ever. I mean, I've just met Junior here. He's a cockatoo, umbrella cockatoo, right, Steve?
That's right.
That's right, and he is just a fun bird to be with. Steve's been teaching other breeders, pet owners, and veterinarians all over the world, and now his 18 years of experience has been incorporated into the Bird Sitter video. Steve has spent an extensive amount of time observing the behavior of birds, and from the moment they hatch out of the egg as babies, all the way through adolescence and adulthood. Steve, what benefits should the pet bird owner expect to receive from the Bird Sitter video?
Steve, pet birds have the ability to understand other birds even though they've not been exposed to them before. A significant amount of a parrot's verbal and physical body language is innate. This means that parrots are genetically programmed to understand this language before they're born. All of these innate behaviors are shown right here on this video, along with a whole spectrum of learned vocalizations and behaviors that they would develop if they were living in a flock of wild birds.
What makes the Bird Sitter video different from the Dog Sitter or Cat Sitter video?
Steve, the main advantage of the Bird Sitter video over the Dog and Cat Sitter video is the socialization experience that your pet will get. Birds are generally kept as a single pet environment without the ability to interact with other birds. Most dogs and cats routinely are able to socialize with other dogs and cats. It's very rare for a pet bird ever to see another parrot.
So these sounds that we've been hearing in the background are all birds communicating with each other about something?
Definitely. Let me explain a little bit further about the vocalization of parrots. Probably about 50% of the parrot's language is innate. The other 50% is learned by interacting with parrots in a social situation. The capacity to learn language is what makes it possible for parrots to mimic other animals like humans when they become part of the flock. Now, by seeing and hearing birds in this video, they will more fully develop their understanding of language. Because they're born with the understanding of a lot of the parrot language already, they will begin to truly understand how physical social interactions go together with vocal and physical body language. This will eventually help your parrot to develop an ability to interpret the communication that's going on in their human flock.
So not only are we entertaining the bird, we're helping the bird develop with this video.
Yes, oh yes, we're developing the social abilities of the parrot by having them listen to this video.
You know, I've heard about porpoises being able to talk to each other. I mean, how complex is the bird language?
Well, nobody knows for sure because we haven't done that much research on it. But we do know that a lot of the calls, like the calls that they use to alert each other to the different predators, have different sounds. They're born with the basic program for the predator alarm call, but each predator's call is slightly different, and even from flock to flock you'll find slightly different variations.
So we've videoed a lot of birds doing a lot of things. Can you explain to me what we're going to see on the video?
Yes. On the video, your parrot will see birds interacting in many different social situations. You'll see parrots preening each other. You'll see parrots showing affection to each other. They'll see birds getting into territorial disputes and resolving their conflicts. They'll see a flock of birds flying down to a feeding station and competing for access to the food. They will see parrots choosing mates and interacting with birds of different ages and social positions and many other situations they will never encounter in the home environment. Just like children observing adults in social situations, your pet bird will begin to understand how conflicts of all sorts develop and are resolved. This will lead them to a better understanding of how to deal with us in their pet environment. Parrots with low self-esteem that can't communicate tend to bite first and ask later. Your pet parrot will learn more about communicating by watching their peers. This will allow them to become a better pet, and as they become a better pet, they will become more confident and less likely to be aggressive and obstinate.
You know, I used to be a little bit afraid of birds, but I certainly am not afraid of birds anymore, especially Steve Hartman's birds. There's a second major advantage to the parrot listening to this video, and it seems that boredom and anxiety, I've read, are a big problem with birds nowadays, Steve. Is that true?
You're right, Steve. Birds in the wild are constantly processing background noise to search out important information for survival purposes. And they also are communicating with each other in the flock through subtle vocalizations. Because parrots are prey species, their brains have developed the ability to process a much greater amount of background information than ours are.
Kind of like when kids are watching TV, but they're not really paying attention. But one of those commercials comes on where the sound is a little bit higher, and there's something going on, and it makes those kids watch that commercial so they see the newest toy.
Yeah, that's right. Even if the parrot is not actively looking at or listening to the video, his brain is paying attention on a subliminal level. Just like children watching TV, the parrots will be recording the fine nuances of the communication while engaged in other activities. This video contains a lot of activities that birds find interesting. This behavior right here that you see where he's flapping the wing, that's the wing tick behavior. That baby is just basically saying, hey, don't forget I'm here, pay attention to me. As an adult, he's not going to do that behavior anymore. But now you hear that vocalization that's calling the mom.
Sure.
You can hear it on the bird that we've got loose up on top of the studio here.
Yep.
A number of these babies are doing this behavior because they want to be fed. They want us to know that they're here and we need to pay attention to them.
That's right. And since you've been feeding them, I think this bird probably thinks you're mom, right?
Pretty much.
That's
now,
right.
Now this is one of the behaviors that we find on the tape. This behavior, all parrots recognize it. It's the same type of behavior. It causes the same response in the brain of a parrot as the behavior or the response that humans get when we hear a baby crying and trying to get our attention. This is a good example of all of the different types of behaviors, body language, vocalizations that we're going to find on the video that your bird is going to pick up and understand from the start. Because this is an innate behavior, he will be able to learn, add on to that behavior when he sees the mother interacting with the bird. And in a whole host of other behaviors, we're going to have the same kind of situation develop, where the bird will see the innate behavior and then see the learned behavior that the birds learned in the flock that we have and interpret that behavior and build on that so they become a better pet, better able to understand our communication.
Folks, that's what the Bird Sitter video and DVD is all about. Like the dog sitter and cat sitter, we've worked very hard to create a special video and DVD exclusively for birds. I went out, got the experts, just like we did in the other videos and DVDs, and we put together something that will actually not only entertain your pet, but it will work for your pet. It will help them improve their self-esteem, and it will entertain them. It's like putting on a bird movie for them every day that they see as something that's new, exciting, and different. It's in the background. You've put them back into their natural environment. Steve, I'm really happy that you were here today with me to explain this whole concept of the Bird Sitter video and DVD, and I certainly do appreciate Junior here and everybody coming down to the set. And folks, all of our products are totally 100% guaranteed. If you're not totally satisfied, just call the 800 number and we'll take care of you. Enjoy the Bird Sitter video. Thanks, Steve.
Great. Thanks, Steve. Thanks for having me.